Hi there, this is Alistair Ingram from www.saxlessons.com, and this is video saxophone lesson number 3. And today I'm going to talk about tone production and the basics for getting started and developing a real nice tone. I'm a big believer in long tones, and long tones is nothing more than what it sounds like, just holding out a tone for maybe 8 to 10 seconds each and playing it as perfectly as possible. And the idea behind this is that you're stripping away everything else that's distracting. You don't have to read music, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to count. You just get yourself in a nice quiet spot, preferably up against the wall somewhere or in a corner where you can hear every little nuance of the note, and try and hold the note as even and steady as possible for, like I said, 8 to 10 seconds each. What I would recommend is to keep the notes in the middle range of the horn, say from G to G, G without the octave key, G with the octave key. Don't start down too low, don't go up too high. Now, on my website at saxlessons.com, I have a whole page devoted to long tones and different set of steps that you can go through to get yourself to the point where you're ready to play. Basically, the first step would be get yourself in a nice quiet spot. Like I said, up against the wall or in a corner or someplace where you can hear every little spit noise, every little rattle that's going to come out. And sit yourself down and kind of take a few seconds to just relax a little bit. Start breathing from your diaphragm, and put the horn in your mouth. And then one thing I'd like to stress is to bring up the airstream right up to the tip of the reed. It's kind of a mental picture, but it really does happen inside your mouth. If you think about bringing up the airstream right to the tip of the reed, when your tongue goes ta like this, your tongue will drop away from the bottom, from the reed. And if your airstream is right there, there should be no extraneous noise, and the tone should start immediately. Just ta, ta. When you get into a nice relaxed state of mind, put the saxophone up to your mouth and go through some steps. On saxlessons.com I have a whole page devoted to long tones and the steps involved in getting to where you're playing your first note. What you want to do is just take your saxophone, put your top teeth on the top of the mouthpiece, rest the weight of your head there, and an important concept is to bring up the airstream right to the tip of your tongue, so that when you say ta to start that note, the airstream is right there at the tip of the reed, and you should be able to start that note with no extraneous noise and no space. Just like this, just ta, ta, like this. Well, what happens sometimes is when people don't bring up that airstream right to the tip of the reed, there's a little lag. Your airstream is down here and it takes a split second for it to get up, like this. That's what you don't want. You want that note to start right away. You want to know exactly when that note's going to start. And what I would recommend is to keep the range of the notes in the middle of the horn from, say, G to G with the octave key. Just keep it in there. Don't start the long tones too low, or don't play them up too high yet. And I would also recommend that if you have a tuner, turn it on and put it off to the side. One mistake that people make a lot of times is that they will put the tuner in front of them right off the bat, and they will play the first note that they play, they're looking at that tuner. Well, what I would recommend is to play some long tones and get your pitch honed in a little bit and feel comfortable with where you think it should be at. When you get that, settle in on like a middle B is a good note, and then look at the tuner, and that will tell you more accurately where you're at. Otherwise, if you just look at the tuner, you're doing what I call you're playing the tuner. You're not playing the saxophone, you're playing the tuner, because it's amazing how well people can adjust when they're looking right at the tuner. And so you're not getting an accurate reading off that tuner. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just demonstrate a few long tones for you. I'm going to start on a G, and the first variation you should try and do with long tones is just mezzo forte all the way, just a medium loud, not too soft, just all the way. Just think of it like a paint stripe on the wall. After you rip off the masking tape and you have some nice clean edges, Think of it like that. That's kind of a good analogy that I use sometimes with my students. So here we go. I'm going to start on a G, and this is mezzo forte all the way. And it's important to note that when you stop the note, don't put your tongue on the reed to stop the reed from vibrating. Just stop the air column and the reed will stop vibrating immediately. Okay, here's an A. That wasn't too bad. First one of the day is a little bit shaky, so here's a B. Okay, so that's sort of an example of mezzo forte, just one dynamic level all the way. After you get nice and comfortable with that, you probably want to do some variations, like start loud and get soft, kind of like this. And the next one would be start soft and get loud.